Hi, I'm Lizzie Frizzle. Welcome to the Recap Corner. Like a Trekkie or a Gleek, as a fan of the reality show Siesta since its premiere back in 2017, I consider myself something of a siesta keister. Because yes, I do feel like an ass for still loving this show. And let me tell you, it's an exciting time to be a siesta keister. Because as its fifth season has just begun, it feels like we're witnessing the series' second soft reboot. The first time, during season 3, producers fired the show's male lead for being racist, and now they've added a subtitle. That's right, we're not watching Siesta Key anymore. From now on, or at least for now, we're watching Siesta Key Miami Moves. In the season premiere called Welcome to Miami, the cast, if you can believe it, moves to Miami. Well, most of the cast moves to Miami. We're told early in the episode that several cast members, like Kelsey, Max, Garrett, and McKenna, got fired. I mean, were happy staying in Siesta Key. Those who are making the move are mostly in search of bigger and better career opportunities. Probably because they all know that barring some sort of deal with the robot devil, this show can only last so much longer. The episode begins somberly. We're still in Siesta Key, and we're looking at a sign that tells the distance to a bunch of random places, like football towns, tropical islands, and public bathrooms. But one place stands out among the rest. And because we've already talked about Miami at least 3 times, I think you know which place I'm talking about. Eggenvale, West Wyoming! We join series lead Juliet as she drives around Miami, lost. She does what you should always do when you don't know where you are. Call your mom and talk on speakerphone while driving one-handed. Juliet says she's done everything she ever wanted to in Siesta Key, like ride wave runners and direct photo shoots for her swimwear line, JMP the label. So now it's time for a fresh start in Miami, where she and the rest of the cast can do things like ride wave runners and participate in photo shoots for JMP the label. Other cast members, like Juliet's billionaire ex-boyfriend Sam, are hoping Miami can provide a safe haven away from their drama. And we all know the best way to avoid drama is to follow all the people you have drama with to a new city where they're the only ones you know. As we leave the town of Siesta Key behind and take in the Miami skyline, Juliet sums up the cast's collective move and the new phase of life it represents in the most Stephen King way possible.
Whatever it was that made people leave their hometown happened to us.
Next, we see a full season mini trailer that features all the usual sorts of Siesta Key drama, as well as someone in full body leopard print paint. After the trailer, we meet back up with Juliet. She's unpacking in her new Miami apartment while she and her friend Lexi have a conversation that conveniently recaps all the relevant events from last season and clues us into some new storylines too. The most important is about Juliet's new boyfriend, a realtor named Clark. He's hesitant to appear on camera, and the cast is starting to wonder if it's because he's hiding a scandalous secret. Could it be that Clark, a regular guy from Fort Lauderdale, just isn't interested in opening himself up to the parasocial hellscape that is reality TV? Nah. We learn that Clark's desire to stay off camera is so strong, he doesn't even want to go to Juliet's JMP The Label Miami launch party, which is too bad because Juliet could use the support. She's nervous that this Miami launch party won't compare to her first launch party last season in Siesta Key, because back then, her billionaire ex-boyfriend Sam paid for the party, and now she's paying for her own party. I wonder what Sam spent all that money on instead. Cut to Sam and another cast member, Jordana, shopping somewhere in Miami where things are probably so expensive I can't even afford to look at them. Jordana thanks Sam for buying her a bathing suit and for bankrolling her latest business venture. Jordana is an artist. At the end of season 4, she was preparing to get into NFTs. But now she and Sam are in business together. It's unclear exactly what they're selling, but whatever it is, we know it's got faux fur.
I just think the concept of faux fur and still having like a high-end product is cool.
And we want high-end, like we want our stuff to speak like Gucci.
In addition to funding her bathing suit, her business, and her upcoming BBL, we learn that Jordana is also living rent-free in Sam's Miami mansion, in exchange for doing household chores Sam doesn't want to and taking care of his dogs. Confused by their friendship? So is the entire cast, including Megan, Sam's girlfriend. But we'll meet her later. First, let's check in with the other main cast members. At the beach, Amanda and Chloe celebrate Chloe's latest business, a skincare company called Emerald Ray Botanicals. It's the next logical step in Chloe's never-ending quest to find a career-based storyline that'll stick. First, she was a realtor. Next, she started a life coaching business called Concept by Chloe, where you could pay $100 an hour for Chloe to teach you what it truly means to step into your power. And now she's selling skincare products made from high vibrational ingredients. With the introduction of Chloe's company comes another important new narrative. Juliet isn't supporting her friends enough. She skipped the Emerald Ray Botanicals launch party, and Chloe is annoyed about it. Is there any other TV show that puts this much emphasis on launch parties? Amanda and Chloe agree that if Juliet isn't careful, she'll lose all her friends. Please, Chloe, don't make us any promises. Every reality TV show exists on a spectrum of actually real to scripted. And scenes like this one between Amanda and Chloe are a great reminder that Siesta Key has a permanent residence on the scripted side of that spectrum. The series frequently depicts plot lines that are fully fictional. And judging by the fact that Juliet is featured on Emerald Ray Botanicals' website as a product model, I'd say her being an unsupportive friend is probably one of them. From here on out, I'm not going to mention every time I think a storyline is fake, because these recaps would be twice as long. But a quick scroll through the cast's social media accounts often tells a very different story of what's shown on screen. We move from the beach to the pool at Sam's mansion and meet more cast members. Kara, as cold as she is condescending, arrives in Miami for some summer fun before she starts nursing school. There is also Mike, Sam's crypto bro pal. Elsewhere, we meet up with the last returning cast member in this episode, aspiring rapper-musician Brandon. In this scene, he's visiting with his toddler son, Quincy, and Quincy's mom, Delaney. Brandon and Delaney have a totally natural and not stiff at all conversation about Brandon's career. He explains that in order to be a good dad to Quincy, his music needs to blow up. And in order for that to happen, he needs to be in a hub like Miami, not small town Siesta Key. You'd think being on a TV show for 5 years would also help, but apparently it doesn't. Brandon's failed attempts to break into the industry has been one of his major storylines for several seasons. He's regularly shown filming a new music video or recording in the studio with a female vocalist he'll hit on for one episode, then never work with again. Speaking of, this is Tanir, one of the season's new cast members. She's an R&B singer, and her dad, Ted, also introduced in this episode, is the founder of Slip and Slide Records. Tanir and Ted, along with Tanir's manager, Dice, and her producer, Sambo Sounds, have a business meeting aboard what I can only assume is Ted's official business yacht. Ted tells Tanir that he wants her to release more music and that he can set up any collaborations she wants, even with superstars like Lil Baby and Rick Ross. But instead of working with two of the most famous rappers, Tanir wants to work with this guy she met on social media, Brandon. At least the editors realize how ridiculous the storyline is, because Ted tells Tanir as much.
I don't understand out of everybody hit you in your DM that you want to do a record with this guy.
I mean, he's a really chill guy, and I feel like he has really good music out.
It seemed kind of strange to me.
Why?
Did he have a hit record already? No. So what is it about this guy?
You're just grilling her.
I'm not grilling her.
I think this is the season premiere's strangest scene. Because while it introduces 4 new, interesting cast members, it does so without integrating them into the series. If you tuned into the episode during this scene, even if you'd watched the show before, there'd be no way for you to immediately identify it as Siesta Key. I get that most of the cast doesn't have a reason to be interacting with music executives, but it's still disappointing that, at least in this premiere, all the new cast members only exist as side characters within Brandon's storyline. At a restaurant called Naked Taco, a server brings Juliet food and asks, in Spanish, if she wants a margarita with lots of tequila. Proving simultaneously that she can understand Spanish and that she's a working woman, Juliet responds, in English, that it's a little too early for a drink. She video chats with her swimwear design partner, Jamie. She tells Juliet about a PR firm run by 2 badass women who were coming to the JMP Miami launch party to decide if they want to represent the brand. To ensure the PR firm is impressed, Jamie tells Juliet to stack the party with all the influencers she knows. But Juliet can't even get her boyfriend to agree to show up. In a voiceover, Juliet explains that she's not the only one with business issues. Apparently, Chloe and her husband, Chris, spent too much money on their wedding, then sunk even more of it into Emerald Ray Botanicals. And their money troubles are about to get worse because the manufacturer for Chloe's new line of cleansers and toners needs at least half the money up front. Luckily, Chris has a way to handle the stress.
Jeez, gotta have the namaste for all that because it's been so intense. It's just like the universe is throwing signs at us.
Hearing about Chloe and Chris's very personal financial problems via a stilted Juliet voiceover is one of my favorite moments from the episode. But not everyone is dealing with business woes. Sam, someone with wealth, not ambition, has romantic issues instead. His relationship with Jordana is making his actual girlfriend, Megan, increasingly uncomfortable. And rightfully so, since Jordana makes this face every time she's around. Megan is concerned about the money Sam spends on Jordana's paintings, which hang all over his house. Not to mention the BBL he's buying her. She discusses it with Sam and delivers a quote so perfect, it's a crime it's not the episode's title.
And then, you're buying her butt.
We also learn that in case Jordana needs help after her cosmetic surgery, Sam is delaying his own necessary knee surgery. It's time for my favorite part of every Siesta Key episode, the cast-wide event. When a party or a gala or some other fancy affair is shoehorned into a storyline and inexplicably, even though most of the cast doesn't even like each other, everyone's in attendance. This time, the event is Juliet's JMP Miami launch party. And even though she talks in this episode about wishing she had more space from her ex, she invites Sam and his whole crew to the launch. That's Jordana, Megan, Kara's boyfriend, Michael, and Mike. It makes so little sense. The show doesn't even try to explain why Juliet invites them. Chloe also comes to the launch, even though she's still mad that Juliet didn't go to her launch, and Brandon's there too with Tanir. As is Siesta Key tradition, everyone arrives in slow motion. But the one person Juliet wants to show up most, her boyfriend Clark, doesn't. At least, not yet. Without Juliet's relationship to scrutinize, the cast turns their attention to Brandon and Tanir instead. During the party, Chloe, Juliet, and Mike all question Brandon about his intentions with Tanir. Sometimes in front of Tanir.
This is strictly work, right?
Of course, bro.
I don't know.
You're not gonna have anything messy?
No, I don't like messy things.
Yeah, I don't like messy things either.
Well, he kind of has a history of being messy.
Luckily, she and Brandon agree that the only thing they dislike more than mess is mixing business with pleasure. Elsewhere, Sam acts like the bitter ex he is. In some scenes, he makes fun of the party's budget, but in others, he says he only wants to support Juliet. He also accidentally calls her his girlfriend. Meanwhile, his actual girlfriend, Megan, is less interested in support than she is in sabotage. She reveals that she and Juliet's boyfriend, Clark, are in the same real-life friend group, and that while they all hung out at a boat party, he was suspiciously flirty toward her and other women there. While she's got the cameras in the area, Megan also decides to confront Jordana about letting Sam buy her a new butt. But Jordana's clearly been preparing for this conversation for a while.
It's kind of weird that, like, the guy I'm seeing is buying you an ass. It's a weird feeling for me.
Wow, are you like upset about it? I'm sure he'd buy you a pair of tits if you asked.
I don't want tits. I want him to care about me and give me a commitment.
Later, Megan gives Sam an ultimatum. Move Jordana out of his house or get dumped. But the most important storyline is Juliet's attempt to wow the women from the PR firm. She bombs hard, but in her defense, the PR women are cartoonishly stiff. When Juliet cracks jokes, they're met with silence. When the women learn that the launch party has no scheduled fashion show, no trendy musical act, not enough guests, and of those guests, not enough editors, they're very unimpressed. Even more so after Juliet wades into a pool full of women modeling JMP swimwear and dances around a little.
We have some comments.
Okay.
We saw some people dancing in the pool.
I was like thinking about you guys as my shoes were already off, and I was like, wow, did I just make a fool of myself?
Correct.
At the end of the night, Juliet receives formal feedback from the PR firm. For her next launch party or other fake event designed to trap her castmates in the same space, Juliet might consider getting more influencers, more celebrities, a red carpet, and as previously mentioned, but apparently it's such a big deal it's got to be said again, more editors. After Juliet's been called a barefoot pool dancing fool, when she needs support more than ever, her boyfriend Clark finally arrives at the launch party. Chloe chooses this moment to pull Juliet aside, say she's leaving, and that Juliet should text her once she figures out why Chloe's mad at her. The episode ends as Chloe leaves Juliet a rambling, berating voicemail detailing exactly why she's mad at her. Thanks for watching. Come back next Wednesday for another Siesta Key Miami Moves recap. And in the meantime, if you're so inclined, please like and subscribe. Thanks again. See you next time. Bye.
She wanted like an ATV, but I got her 9 TVs in here. Hey, don't do that.
Sam lets me drive these sometimes.
That one got stolen recently, but we got it back.